Sejuani in the bottom side of a lot of those matchups, and then you can try and answer out in the next couple of picks.
Now, Heimerdinger still on the table, and yep, there's RNG hovering that one. I guess it is just really strong in terms of a lane control type situation. You can also get a lot of cheese moments out of it, and the combo with the Varus is very strong. So RNG, just take that away. I want to see if they are going to go ahead and grab an ADC as the third pick, but they grabbed the Wukong before handing over the pick to FPX.
Ooh, interesting. Are we going to get Caitlyn and Varus together? It's always very interesting when you get these double AD offers. And is Hacker
this is Hacker's Lee Sin. I mean, this is absolute comfort. He literally has double competitive played games on the Lee Sin than any other champion. But it is just not meta. So I'd be really interested to see how it goes. But we do get that Lux lock. Yeah, not yet until Hacker says something. But it is the double really heavy poke bottom lanes with the Lux. I love to see this integration for Lola, and they get a lot of that setup again with the Sejuani for Hacker.
It seems like we might be just getting Jhin Heimerdinger on the other side. I think Lee Sin, once we hit live or the next patch where he does get that buff, I think he's going to be a fair amount stronger, but I don't know if it's going to bring him into meta by any means, but maybe that will help out FPX if they make it to the patch. As RNG are just going to answer out with Jhin Heimerdinger. We've seen what this lane can do. Super annoying poke, lots of CC, and more importantly, setting up the potential engage for Wei is super crucial and important to me. I think a lot of the time, Wukong is usually kind of secondary engage, right? That's kind of how he works, or he's maybe setting up for the more important means of CC. But when you've got the long range sort of the grenade and the curtain call and things like that, all of a sudden, the Cyclone is more of an actual damage threat than it is sort of CC setup. So we'll see how RNG use these tools. Looking at the bans though, we're going to see Angel's Rise taken away, and a lot of mid lane focus in general from both these teams.
Yeah, you get the Jace, which has that flexibility obviously right now, but the Yone as well. And I'm really wondering for FPX what they try to want to ban out here to try to focus the side lane. Yeah, I mean, I think Silas adds so much, but I'm really looking at the solo lanes of RNG to be a big punishing threat to FPX, because the Jhin, while I love Jhin, 4 is my number, Jhin is my king. It is still trying to find carries on other teams for late game, right? Like I love Jhin, but you're not gonna find that like wombo stopping late game carry from Jhin. It's a lot more of that setup for him. So I'm very much looking forward to this kind of adaptation from RNG.
Yeah, so am I, and I think for FPX, I am expecting probably the Silas
menacingly
in their side, and Breathe is gonna just stand there menacingly yet again. I wonder if Fearness is
look at that face. Oh, it went away.
I wonder if Fearness is gonna feel as compelled to go towards the Ksante again after how the matchup went the last time. It felt like he couldn't really get that much impact, and I think looking at the RNG draft right now, I feel like a repeat could be on the cards. Like the lane matchup is always going to be fine, right? But how much consistent use are you going to be able to find yourself in? I think trying to sort of swap up in-game role, maybe you take away Bree from the team fight, try and angle a wall and take him out of the fight with an all-out is maybe your best bet, so that the rest of the team can play out a 4v4. We'll see what the angle is for Fearness, but now for Care, I'm expecting another Silas game. I'm expecting the Silas Sejuani, and you just try and win out on the 2v2 in the mid lane. Angel had the hover of the Akali.
This is something that's been left Kassadin open. Let's go. All right, so he's saying, I believe in being safe in the laning phase and making it to that late game spike.
It's bold. I'll give it. I will give it to Care, and I feel like RNG, they would feel okay going in AD mid if they really wanted to punish the Kassadin, but I feel like Angel might not even care too much about that avenue. I think he's still just going to go towards something comfortable and something that's just going to be able to shove it in the Kassadin, and the Azir kind of just makes perfect sense for that. And now they've got more zone control, more consistent scaling, RNG, and even if Kassadin might get, you know, a bit of a free laning phase in the sense of farm, RNG are going to have priority pretty much across the board here, and they're going to have very consistent scaling options and ranged engage off of multiple members. So I think RNG have the tools to kind of execute on what they did in game number 1, and it's honestly onus for me on FPX again to try and find the means to get Kassadin into a spot where he's comfortable to play the game for Ken.
Dude, gosh, just looking at this draft, don't we have such a splendor? No, it's literally, look, nowhere else but bot lane in the early parts of the game. We check in on everybody else later. Like, I'm so interested that we put it like
response when the Herald was being taken, but like generally actual fighting, we didn't get to see. So hopefully a little more of that, and we'll feel like we're actually in the LPL. For now though, we are here for game number 2, and we'll see if it actually unfolds this way.
Gotta love those loud gyos as we get into the second game. FPX versus RNG, as you said. RNG on their way to finding some promise here in the later part of the split, trying to push their way to the top of the table here, regain some of that former glory from just last year winning MSI. And FPX, on the other hand, have gone with a lot of developmental tools, have brought in a couple standout pieces, has kept Lwx, but it's about chaining together some consistent performances for them. As we look at these runes here, the double Arcane Comet bot lane for FPX, looking for that poke yet again, just like in game number 1.
Yep. See what Lwx and Lele can get done with all of that additional poke. Lwx again has gone towards the teleport. It's not going to be cleanse to get out of a grenade or a deadly flourish. Definitely very interesting to see this choice of summoner spell come out, especially after last game where it felt like he was the very consistent target of Ming's focus with the Ash Arrow. Again, I feel like Ming is just going to consistently play that nuisance card as this Heimerdinger. And we'll see whether or not the focus will yet again be Lwx and how he'll deal with it if it is the case.
And we see Hacker doing this path down towards bottom lane, which gives him the option to come punish a pushed up Gala in Ming. And I think we saw actually Wei start that red buff, go up to Krugs, and now going to Chicken. So maybe being able to stop die this mid lane, but I'm guessing that path is going to lead his way down bottom side.
Yeah, Wei's going to end up here after the rest of the camps. Hacker's are already here, and he's unfortunately going to see, I think, just as he comes out of the brush, that there is that ward, so he's just going to sweep it away. Unlikely to see if he can find anything in the mid lane. Gala and Ming are actually going to force Hacker back. I'm going to feel kind of mad they lose the ward, but they know where Hacker is, and that should also prompt Angel to maybe just hover towards the top side of the map as well for now, just to avoid the potential getting walked on by Hacker. So RNG kind of just thwart some of that early aggression that Hacker was perhaps looking to find on the bottom side of the map, and the bottom side match up in the 2v2 and continue to go towards Gala and Ming. Needs to be a little bit careful though. I guess Gala has a whole bunch of pots. He started boots, super important to dodge out some of those skill shots, and they'll be okay.
For now Hacker is looking mid, and Angel not really suspecting much. We'll see the portal coming out of the bush though. He'll still have the flash, doesn't even have to use his care pretty low on his own right. Will get poked down if he does extend a little bit further. Care just trying to get that level up, takes his health as a trade there.
Poke damage comes down from Angel, and Angel actually has 2 points in the queue. Thankfully, we have the observer clicked onto him. So if Hacker had committed,
oh my god, does the character just die?
I think he's dead.
One more. Oh my god, that was so close.
Pop your pots, eat your biscuits. Biscuits is what just saved care there. Popped his biscuit at the last second, and I think the actual proc itself, if there's
Look at this. Oh my god, the deadly flourish. The grenade Wei is coming in. This could be first blood for RNG. They find Lwx. The Phoenix will live no longer in the bot lane.
Man, that was super close as well. Lwx almost got the trade kill back, but fortunately for them, RNG Gala had to just step away from that. And again, that's kind of, you know, the unfortunate situation of having teleport and not cleanse. Now, positive of having teleport is if you die to this play, you actually still get the wave. So, you know, pros and cons, right, in the early stages for Lwx. The kill gold still goes over to Gala, and he's going to find himself a Noon Quiver reset, so he's going to be super happy about that. But a great proactive play towards the bottom side, and that's what we said we wanted to see from both these junglers, and it's Wei that's first to the punch. Deadly flourish into grenade. Lwx can't move for like 2.5 seconds. The piercing comes so close to killing Gala, but it's just not quite enough.
And I'll just say it's a Noon Quiver versus a Tier and 2 long swords in the bot lane, and that is all that Jhin can ask for. The power that you're going to have to poke down now onto Lwx and Lele. I'm very much looking forward to RNG kind of pressing this advantage bot lane, even if it is something pretty small. But Dragon is now on the table. That gives them a little bit more resources to try and take down bottom lane. And with the way that Wei is pathing, he should just make his way down here eventually.
Should do.
Looks like FPX have a little bit of info, though. They actually pinged out his chickens just now. So either somebody has a little bit of that context here for FPX, given some vision game knowledge.
For now, vision will play a big part in FPX's, I don't want to say wanton aggression, but they definitely want to always be the ones that are pushing forward in this lane and just trying to get, you know, consistent poke, especially with the Lux specifically. And you can definitely say the same thing for Gala and Ming, but the pressure, the chain CC is super powerful. Once that level 6 comes in, the burst damage can effectively just remove even Ming on Gala. And they want to have the freedom to do that, and Hacker is trying to provide that freedom just by the constant hovering as well. Wei kind of just understands that he needs to be around here too. And both the junglers, as we said, wanted to see are being drawn down here, as Hacker's just basically playing bodyguard at the moment.
Pretty much. Just the presence itself is enough to make RNG play a little bit more hesitantly, but now it's about the poke that's going down onto RNG's bottom lane. Because honestly, Hacker, I think, is fine just sitting down here waiting for Wei to leave, but Wei saying, nah, if you want to fight, I'm sticking around.
He's starting up the dragon here.
Kair's on his way. Kair's got level 6.
Yeah,
Angel does too,
but he's
but
got heal.
this is a bit tricky. Is Wei getting a bit low? Now Angel will collapse. They don't have a collapse from bot lane, though. Gala and Ming cannot make it here just yet. Is Kair trying to wrap back around to get these minions on his tower? Should be just that kind of pullback from the original dragon play.
Yeah, all right. Very, very interesting sequence there from both these sides.
A lot of reservation. There's a lot of hesitancy.
But I think from the side of RNG, that's fine, to be honest with you. I think kind of sort of moving from that same theme from last game of kind of discipline, ensuring that even though, all right, cool, they get the dragon star, but it doesn't end up going through, just being able to recognize that, all right, we need to take a step back is totally fine. I think, however, if you take it into the context of this game, level 16 Kassadin is always going to be scary and looming, so losing out on a potential early dragon take to try and force the issue towards an early dragon soul is still going to feel very, very rough. And at this rate right now, I mean, Kair's effectively kind of just free farming as far as this game is concerned right now. He's still within one wave of Angel. He's only down 6-7 CS right now. I think RNG and Wei specifically want to try and punish that.
I think Kair is such an interesting call to action for FPX. He is literally just a purely developmental FPX piece, right? He got promoted last March. Loves to get a little bit of that attention for FPX, and we've seen, you know, him be an integral piece to what they've been building around. And especially coming into 2023, it's still about chaining those consistent plays together. And maybe him and Hacker can do so. Maybe they'll find 2 here. It is at least 1 kill in trade to a 1-1 scoreline, and Kassadin gets it.
Oh my god!
Oh! Kair, he gets that heal used there. It was very close. Gets the flash from both sides.
Yeah, very, very close from Kair. I'm not actually sure, because he's off cooldown, so did he have it? I don't think he did. Either that or he couldn't get it out in the combo in time, unfortunately, Kair. So that could have very easily been a solo kill, and that could have been a very fast snowball of 2 kills for the Kassadin, but still getting the force out is going to feel great, and the minions will be missed underneath that tower as we get a look at what happens here. Level 6 gets ticked over on the minion wave from FPX, and I imagine that was probably quite planned. The body block comes in for Wei and just sacrifices his life for Angel, as you can see, the E's just off cooldown. Oh. Wow! It just comes off cooldown with the spell casts. That's quite unfortunate for Kair. I think just barely miscalculating the time. It's about 0.1 of a second away. If that's up, Angel would have died. He would have been solo killed, and that would have been 2 kills for the Kassadin, but the pressure is still felt from the side of FPX onto RNG.
We have level 6s, at least for RNG's bottom lane. I was wondering if we're going to get this first dragon finally taken, but it is not going to go down. Rift Herald on the other side. And I do want to check in at these win conditions, because we said earlier, Kair is still on this Kassadin. Do you see hope for RNG in the later parts? I mean, they have the Azir, they have the Sion. Maybe this bot lane a little bit wanting in the later parts of the game, but it feels like they have some setup for themselves.
Yeah, my biggest concern really is who's going to kill Breathe when we get to the later stages, because it is Lwx Varus and a bunch of tanks and 1 mage. So it will take a while to cut through the Sion health bar. So RNG are always going to have something to work with. And let's not forget how much damage. Ooh, hello, engage. On point.
That's the final spark and the kill to Lele.
It's just too much CC. You don't get to move. Very, very unlucky for Ming. Once he gets hit by that Glacial Prison, his fate is effectively just sealed. And now FPX are going to turn this into a dragon. Really fast movement.
So Rift Herald on the other side, though.
Yeah, still going to be traded. That's the important thing. So RNG need to find some really efficient use out of that Herald. in my opinion, because again, the looming threat of that level 16 Kassadin is always going to be there. And that's going to be difficult to deal with. And sure, Breathe might be unkillable, but if the rest of your team dies, then who cares about an unkillable tank?
You're left there wondering where your team went. They're all bloody and beaten around you. We see actually that trade of ultis down bottom lane and where Ming had burned that flash.
And Ming is hovering around here. He's going to get shoved in.
He's got the care locked down. Rockets to the face, but it's still not enough. Can somebody clean this up? Somebody's got to take the kill. The turret, the deadly flare is not enough. Care. He's making the great escape away. Says, nah, I'm going to slam that door. I'll pick up the kill on the mid laner now. Maybe even looking to give Angel some of these Rift Arrow plays. No, he's going to take that quick back.
He wants the reset. That's what's going to happen. Hasn't based for a little while. Wait, and he's got the Divine Sunder as well, so that's what he wants the reset for.
Really, pretty big reason to back.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes on him, see if he can actually find somewhere to get aggressive, because that's going to be a very, very massive power point now for RNG to skirmish around, as no one else is really close to an eye completion for now. As I said, actually, Lwx has the Yokos.
Oh, man.
And that's a
they
whole
had
bunch
the
of
combo up again. They throw everything in the kitchen sink at Gala, but they can't get him. Now Ming back down here with Wei hovering. Hacker is here as well, as consistent as a bodyguard for Lwx and Lele.
Yeah, absolutely. Hacker, he just wants the kind of shadow, right? He can see how much pressure his bottom side are getting rather onto the RNG bottom side, and he knows Wei reset recently. He's going to be on this side of the map. He wants to
The
just
Cyclone is available,
no
nothing
play.
else.
Yeah, he just wants to make sure no play happens, right? Even if it's just the Cyclone, they're going to spot him out finally. They know he's there. Now RNG just going to have to back away from this play for now.
All right, so Hacker doing his job, just making sure nothing goes too awry in bottom lane, and waiting for Care to keep stacking up. I think they'll be fine with how much poke and kind of just catch-up potential they have between Lwx and Lele to set up Care. And really right now, it's just the Care show. Wait until he gets 16, throw ultis at your enemy, and watch him clean it up.
Yeah, exactly. We're in a bit of a filler arc right now for Care. You know, it's...
He's training away. What's your favorite filler arc out of all the animes you've watched? What filler arc is this for Care?
This feels like, for any Dragon Ball fans out there, and this is a bit of a niche call out, I guess.
Okay.
It's like that one episode where Goku and Piccolo go to get their driver's license. They don't drive, they can fly. They don't need a driver's license, they can fly. But it's still a really fun episode, and for Care right now, he's having a pretty good time. He's already got.
He's going to get his driver's license.
He's got the road. He's getting his driver's license. Yeah. Once he hits level 11, then I guess he's got it, and then the filler episode is over.
True. It is going to be that Roa now completed for him, though, so starting to stack that one up. FPX are looking towards bottom lane with all that pressure we were talking about earlier, and I don't really see a response to come out from RNG just yet. And again, I think, as you've said in draft, onus is definitely on RNG to get something going here, and we haven't seen them be able to get anything, especially not Ming, who gets his health bar taken away from him.
Yeah, that was with no Chains of Corruption and no AP on Lele either. He's just got this, the Spell Thieves, so, and a bunch of CDR. Now, we'll see actually what Lele wants to do. It looks like it's just going to be a Shirelia's or something along those lines in terms of item buff as Wei is going to get forced back here.
Wei doesn't really have any help here.
Smite, and he might actually just about get it.
He actually does. See Gala and Lwx taking some trades on bottom lane. That tower will still survive. Wei defends his jungle, maybe a little bit of his pride. As Ming coming back down forwards, Wei will see Hacker go over the wall. He sees him actually hop over the wall and then go over the other wall. And now wrapping back for a backing Lwx. He's coming around the corner. He'll see him. Lwx Chains of Corruption. The Cyclone flashed away. Tries to get that second activation here. Curtain Call is open up. And let's see if he can land these shots.
No.
Lele dodging out. Lele goes down to Wei, trying to make some fancy feet. But Wei traded back to Lwx. And it's catastrophic rather. Kills going both ways on bottom lane here, and Wei taking the brunt of that for RNG.
Yeah, Wei dead. Couldn't get away from the tower in time. RNG wanted to really force the play. And I think they had the timing to do it, definitely. Unfortunately, the shots are dodged away from it. It means that Wei has to overcommit for the play. Really nice.
Man, he almost gets Lwx.
Almost, and that's a really nice light binding just to lock Wei in place, but First shot dodged away from, second shot dodged away from, third shot doesn't even really need to be sidestepped, and the fourth one wouldn't have hit anyway, I don't think. And Wei, unfortunately, dies to that final tower shot.
Now Lwx has a blue buff. That's gonna feel really good. And you thought they had pressure before in bottom lane. Well, I think RNG have realized they just kind of need to abandon that one, as the tower will just go down to Lwx. It will be first tower for FPX, as they don't necessarily have a big lead to ride home on, but it definitely feels like they're getting control through this bottom side of the map, scaling into infinity for Care.
Yeah, it's about the game state, right? And what the game actually feels like. And as things stand, RNG still have a fair amount to work with right now in the early stages. But the longer this game gets towards that level 16 mark, and the closer LWX are to get to item spikes, it's going to feel really, really tough to deal with all the pokes, to deal with the looming threat. The dragon fight's here,
Final spark only hits onto Breathe. Cares on the side. He has been seen. Glacial Prison went wide. Breathe is just tanking up everybody. And here comes RNG, the Cyclone, as he will go into zombie mode. And Emperor's Divide brings back LWX. Care not able to find that backline access. They do trade 1-for-1 yet again, but that still favors FPX.
It has to be said, it does favor FPX, right? Still,
the dragon stacking though,
as well.
good thing.
Yeah, good thing. Definitely denied away from FPX. RNG, you can kind of already see how tanky Breathe is. It took so long for him to die. No one in FPX could actually get through his health bar, and that will continue to be potentially a bit of a problem. But again, if Care murders your whole backline and a bunch of poke flies over the top, it's not really going to be something you care too much about. So RNG, even though they get the dragon as a 1-for-1, FPX is still sitting really, really pretty in this game in my mind. And again, it's kind of a waiting game where RNG are the ones that have the onus to try and find fights. Breathe is on the front line, and again, I'll reiterate how tanky he is, how many ultimates he soaks up, how much CC it takes for him to die. And follow-up doesn't come through for a really long time from RNG, maybe a little bit attentive to the fact that Care is on the backside of the fight and they don't want to overcommit to potentially leave their backline open.
I'll just say, in that one, there definitely was a little bit of miscommunication, fella, from the FPX side. I mean, there is no way that LWX ends up as your front line if everybody's communicating there. And you saw kind of Hacker move out the other side, Fearness on the other side. Like, it was kind of just a split and run, and LWX was left hanging. So I think this is something where we're seeing some of that consistency not be there for FPX, but is still game plan number one is the issue here for game number 2, at least, as FPX are still right and well.
Yeah, definitely, and have the Herald as well. See on the opposite end, sorry, RNG have the Herald, so we'll see if that can maybe be a bit of a counterpunch to this pretty comfortable state of the game that RNG have found themselves on the opposite end of for FPX. Because right now, second item's kind of approaching solo lanes, right? And the Archangels actually might be a little whiles away. Care has a lot of components, so I'm not sure how much gold he's actually flatly sat on. But he just sold his refill pot for a measly large rod, so he had a fair amount of gold. Once that second item comes in, that's going to be the big spike for Care, and then of course the level 16. Fearness is getting close to that second item. LWX has his second item, and you can kind of see the RNG feel like the pressure is on the side of FPX, and specifically towards Care as Wei and Angel, and just pairing up on the side lane, trying to see if they can look for a Herald drop perhaps, but it's not going to come through. And the map will kind of go back to this brief stalemate where people are just going to try and catch waves, get to those next item spikes. WX in the mid lane comfortable. This should always be mid lane priority as well, I think it has to be said. It's carrying the point for FPX too. So again, the pressure points feel really, really painful for RNG, and it's going to be very difficult for them to find plays even on the side lane because of all the mobility and tankiness some of these members are going to have, and they'll never necessarily have first move or first reaction either because of the mid lane priority.
That's something that they can definitely play around here, and I'm wondering if they can capitalize on a little bit, as we do see Hacker coming towards this mid lane. Seeing some pings themselves from RNG with Breathe actually heading this way. Does have TP for the side lane response or to get to the fights here. As Baron's on the table, but no team really set up in such a lead to make that a threat. It is Dragon, though, in 1 minute and 10 seconds. And RNG, Cloud Soul may not be that important, but man, when you're facing up against this FPX roster, especially the comp they have, you want everything you possibly can to help you in the late game.
Anything that you can use to stop yourself from being murdered by this Kassadin and maybe even the Ksante is going to be very valuable. So take what you can get. Isn't a Hex Tech Soul?
Banshee's Veil, second item actually for Angel.
Wow. Yeah, I think that really kind of speaks to how afraid he is of some of the damage from Care. Of course, there's a lot of magic damage that comes out of the Lux, and hell, even Varus has a fair amount through the passive, right? So does trim down a fair amount of the burst damage, but it's not a Shadow Flame, it's not a Death Cap, so it's going to stunt his damage a little bit, but I guess what's the point in damage if you're not alive to get it out? So you definitely understand Angel's build path here, and it will definitely provide him a fair amount of safety. Stop him from maybe getting caught out from range pick tools as well from FPX, so not too terrible as
trying to stop Ming's reset.
Stop. Yeah.
I mean, right now it looks like RNG want to try to reset to get around this dragon here with Wei actually just bolting that way and try to clear out this mid lane, get a reset, and there's the pings. They stop the backs. They're going for the dragon potentially now.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, honestly, it doesn't seem like FPX care too much. No pun intended, as we have Care on our screen
going for the tower.
Yeah,
it's PvE combat. Okay, now he's starting to take the tower. Not good, Care. As they don't get the trade, and that's actually huge for RNG. Getting something back on the map. Second dragon goes to them.
But we are 22 minutes into the game, and it's only the third dragon that's been picked up, and it's split between two teams. Pretty sure Care's basing for his Archangels. FPX are alright. I think they're fine. And the Roar as well, don't forget, is about to tick over to 10 minutes. So Care's about to get an additional level, so he's going to be level 15. So all he's going to need is one full level of XP. Oh, breathe. Very, very neat.
It's the little things, all right? It's the little things.
Wait,
do it. You won't. You won't breathe.
You won't. I'm looking at the map. He did it. I saw it. He stopped.
I saw Care's back stop. Oh my god. At this point, I would just say unstoppable onslaught him and see what happens. But he will get that back off at top side. He does complete that Archangels. Will upgrade into the Seraph. So big item spike now for Care. He'll be hitting that level 15 mark now as we hit that 10 stacks. One level away from the countdown timer hitting doom o'clock.
Yeah, get the 15 out of 6. There you go.
You got your prepper shelter ready?
I hope RNG
I know you got your Bucky's mug. That's important. You got to make sure to have that in the prepper section.
I do. It's
Are you ready when Care comes to town?
We have to make more Texas references, man. Just
we really do.
Just on the connection that we
nobody will understand it whatsoever, but me and you,
Exactly. That's what we need.
Ooh, I just saw this third item actually for Lwx. So the Eclipse completed there. The big damage profile. You are, like we were saying, second item for Care. So I guess next question for me is RNG. You're finding even a small advantage is not enough, and want to see how they can kind of approach these team fights later on once they get stacked up.
Yeah, so 2 items across the board for RNG, right? They are down that item in the AD department, but I feel like you're kind of okay with it. As, oh my goodness me, Ming just ate about 500, 600 health from that one arrow. But RNG need to find a fight, and they need to find it soon, because Care's about to tick over to level 16 in the next minute or so. I think he needs a good couple of waves. I haven't seen him on the side lanes too much since he's returned back out onto the map for this item spike, because once that level 16 comes in and that 3 item spike is there, we saw how much poke damage is already available, and Lele also has the Everfrost, which is a completed item, so it's a fair amount of AP
close.
And he is super close. Yeah, look at that. So
RNG are pinging.
I mean,
they're pinging on the Baron.
Oh, I mean, it's technically off vision, but FPX are here. So awkward timing. I like the creativity though. It's a solo queue play that you'll see every now and again, where Heimerdinger just drops his entire combo over a wall with the turrets, the upgraded turret as well, and it just melts a Baron super quick. But FPX not gonna get caught unawares.
There it is.
And there you go.
Level 16. The
Level
shark
16.
hits the water as he gets a reset and comes back onto the rift. They'll have that Void Crystal in pocket as well as a stopwatch to make sure things can be met. And I do really, again, back to that conversation, is like RNG just feel like they are sputtering to find direction. And that is our biggest question here for them, is there is a clear game plan from FPX, the way they drafted in the end of the draft. You have to find some way to answer that, and RNG have yet to do that.
Yeah, and I feel like in game number 1, the game plan was relatively clear for RNG, right? In comparison to this game where it feels a little bit more all over the place. talk about that in a second though, because this Baron
just
is being
doing the
burnt down
Baron
again. FPX
I mean, this
are
is
very
like
aware.
what they have. This is where they're setting up. This is how they're trying to get FPX off kilter here. Breeze's going to take him up, but there's no follow-up. Like, you got to have the follow-up if this is going to be happening. Breeze will flash out. Fearness feeling very confident to go forward. Glacial Prison comes out now. Wade's in some trouble. Wade dragged back by the all-out, and Lwx gets the kill. RNG, they hesitate, and they get punished for it. As the knockback comes out of Breeze, Breeze will go down as well. A kill, 2 of them to Lwx. Curtain calls coming out. Fair. Gets one more shot in the back. Breeze trying to chase him down. Doesn't do it. Fourth shot does connect onto Lele. As the Baron started up by FPX, but Care healing up and stacking up on the side.
Yeah, Care probably can afford to go back to base 4. He can look for a flank angle. Lele!
Deadly flourish! Ming gets a little bit lower at Care on the side. You got to be really careful. He wants to come over the wall. Oh,
stacking.
He stacks one more. Goes over
He's
the
got
wall.
it.
Gala not going to go down. Gala flashed onto. Not taken out. He's too quick for you. As now Angel will be the sacrificial lamb of RNG.
Oh, Gala's putting out so much damage in response, but there is just too much threat on the side of FPX, and a 3v5 has to be said. Valiant effort from RNG to stop the Baron from going down, but you just fear a repeat of this is going to go on, don't you? That FPX is just going to return back out to the map full strength and very happily play this dance out again. And this time, I'll tell you, they probably won't fail in succeeding to get everything they want out of the team fight. Breathe. You can still see, actually, the replay is going to start well and advance past that point. Breathe, I want to say, it's still so tanky, but look how much damage is available to Gala. He just removes Lele from this team fight. And Care just on the bottom side of this fight, just stacking, gets the R flash. He almost has lethal for Gala. If he gets the E out just a frame sooner, Gala's dead. And they can maybe consider doing the Baron, but they just back away, go for the safer option, reset. Now they're on the map and they're ready to play this game again.
Back to the trades. Fearness now this time, the one that's caught out a little bit. The knockups do come through. They're putting a lot of damage on him, but he's just as tanky as Breathe. Tanking so much of that brute force of RNG. And this is somebody you always have to mark. It is Care, as he might be finding himself marked and caught in the side. The grenade not going to do it, and Care makes it out. Those rift walks a little OP.
Just a little bit. Remember when Kassadin R first got changed? Because of course this Kassadin R is super short ranged. Just called it a Rift Limp when it first got changed. It's still pretty damn strong.
Look at this though.
Oh yeah,
they're still trying to force the hand. Care did not back. He did not have TP available. He has to stick around in the fight. Gala just took a brunt of damage as Care's over the wall. He got spotted out. Glacial Prison. It will connect on Angel. Angel, you'll use the Emperor's Divide though, separating out FPX. Care is now with the rest of his team though, and Breathe finds himself in a deja vu as RNG back away.
Team fight's almost a pretty much one-for-one picture of the previous fight. Breathe on the front line again, tanking up so much damage. He can't really be killed. It takes 5, 6, 7 seconds for the side of FPX to burn through him. But again, the problem remains that RNG can't respond with the amount of damage that FPX's side is putting out. So it kind of just ends up being a bit of a neutralization here. Breathe teleports back just to maybe force the hand again of FPX. This dragon is just flat out being ignored, by the way. It's been on the map for a while.
RNG are just forcing FPX to not focus on anything else but fight this Baron fight. And honestly, I don't see another way for RNG to force this map play. Like, it has to be around forcing fights around objectives.
The problem is, FPX are kind of okay doing this dance over and over.
Exactly.
Eventually, RNG are gonna falter, right? It feels like even if RNG find Lwx or Lele, it's not gonna matter if they don't find Care, who's a little bit too slippery to be locked down right now. They're on the Baron again. I think that ward is giving them so much information.
Oh, the ward. They want to go in though. Maybe Hacker moving forward now as well. Care on a stack up. He's actually taking some shots from the Baron buff. FPX kind of backing off here. Wade decides to move forward just to bait out a little bit of engage from Hacker. Fourth shot. Oh, Gala gets a snipe. You get a knockback from Fearness though. Still ridiculously tanky. Care goes over the wall finally to join this fight as Way, the clone, beautifully done to mitigate a lot of the damage, and Hacker's down. So that's a Baron. RNG starting it up.
Potential. There's definitely potential for this one. There's going to be a teleport from Fearness, definitely. It just depends on where it wants to come from. Perhaps on the top side of the pit.
Two rift walk. Oh, okay, I don't think they got this one. No legendary steal from Lwx as RNG, they get the Baron.
I'm more surprised that FPX are actually just letting RNG walk out with that one, to be honest with you, but I think they just don't feel confident in taking the 4v5. I would actually chance FPX to maybe win it, to be honest with you. So I think they're just going to go towards this dragon, pick it up, ensure that RNG can't get it, and then look for a reset, though. As I say it, Wei's actually already down here, so maybe RNG care? Doesn't seem like RNG care at all. Dragon will go over.
It'll be trading back.
Just the trade back. And the fourth dragon of the game goes down at 31 minutes into the game. Is this League of Legends even at this point?
I just can't believe that RNG are still giving FPX a run for their money here. I mean,
Right.
they've hit the dupe clock, but the dupe clock, it's just like, it didn't click over. It's still, you're hitting it, you're tapping it with a couple of hammers, trying to figure out how to make it continue. As it is that third item completed for Care, so maybe the clock starts ticking a little bit more here. And it really is a testament to RNG's kind of that whole conversation we've had, riding of the ship. Finding some decisiveness in these late games does signify that shot calling has found a little bit of a home back with RNG.
Yeah, definitely. Said the key word was just their sense of order in that previous game, right? Just all of that slow, meticulous play. Wei actually uses the clone to eat the chains of corruption there. Really nice. To find a bit of damage onto Fearness.
Wait, but Wei was trying to mark Care. You got the rockets raining in. The final spark used back. The curtain call. Not going to do much against these tanky members. I really like that Wei was actually holding Care there, because Care doesn't want Wei. He wants the squishier members, and he can't really deal with the damage that Wei actually puts out there. TP's now coming back in. This Baron buff is doing wonders for RNG in this siege.
It really is. Baron buff slowly ticking away here. RNG on the bottom side. Ming is low, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. However, RNG are just going to signal a retreat here. Maybe towards the mid lane is the court of play here. Seems to be the case. RNG just trying to chip away at the towers when and where they can. And FPX are going to have to try and answer this one, otherwise they will lose 2 towers. But I think, all things considered, they're still okay in the state of the game. We just need to see a successful fight actually come out for FPX with this late game Kassadin hack up.
Dude, Angel's actually doing so much work to hack her. Like,
yeah, he is.
Angel is no joke in this game. And we see Ming catching Care out on the side. Again, it's literally just about marking Care. And they've done such a wonderful job of it so far. It's not just been one person marking him. They are assigning different members every time they come into a situation like this, and Care can't find an end.
Yeah, really, really good from RNG to just consistently have a man marking system with Care. And since the Baron, the last 2.5, 3 minutes, Care's not been able to find the same level of threat towards the backline as he was able to around the Baron pit. Now RNG, their sights are set on this tier 2 on the top side. They're taking the other 2 whilst the Baron was up. We'll see if they still have the sieging power to make work of this tower, as Care again is on the side of the team fight looking for it. He actually does a fair amount of damage to the clone, which means he would deal that much damage, I believe, to Wei. So we'll see how much he actually decides to care about that man marking from Wei now. If he can get past the bodyguard that Wei is cosplaying as. The rest of RNG really stepping far back forward here.
That's the thing. Wei has the tools to deal with Care. That's why he's been marking him in a lot of these fights. It's so disgusting, the amount of damage and the amount that he can mitigate with the clone.
Yeah, it is. It really, really is. RNG, they're sticking around for now. Angel's setting up for a blue buff. Just going to be stolen away here. This feels... Do you know what this feels like, Mazel? This feels like I'm watching like a season 5 or 6 game. Man, this is real slow, by the books League of Legends, which I feel like I've been shut off from for the last 6 years. Also, with how fast so many games often go, we're at the earliest 6 minutes away from a soul being picked up at 35 minutes into the game, and at longest 20, basically.
And I feel like there's enough damage at least for RNG to capitalize. They take another one of these team fights, but again, we're getting you know, further item completions where they got 4 items for both ADCs, and very much looking for FPX to utilize some of this. But again, Care can't get caught in the side lane. He's just been oppressed every time that Wei sees his face.
Just not able to do anything, has he? Care. He's just he's been shut down really efficiently by RNG. I've really enjoyed seeing how RNG have been able to make use of just information and constant tracking of the FPX mid laner. And to me, RNG, a much better look comparatively to the previous weeks, right? Again, a lot of context to it. Fearness, how unstoppable is he?
All out, all the way over,
Oh my
and
God,
Ming was the
Ming?
target. He gets him! The double knockback, FPX. They turn on its head a play from RNG.
I can't believe it. Reeves even gonna maybe get this tower on the back end of it as well. Real nasty from FPX. Fearness to find that one. Riot! Fix it! I'm sure someone's saying in chat right now. Fix it! But that's just Ksante for you.
They're pinging on the Baron now. It is spawning right now, and FPX are making the play.
No reason for them not to either. RNG and numbers disadvantage at the moment.
Are we really flipping this right now? Is this what we're doing?
Yeah, we're flipping it.
Oh, Gala, no! He gets over the wall, no! Angel! You pushed him to your ADC and FPX, they capitalized, taking out Gala. It's not gonna matter for long as Ming, he's getting a little bit low. It almost goes down too, but a 600 gold shutdown as it is FPX that get the Baron.
I can't believe it. Me?
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
FPX are running at him. And it ain't going the way of RNG. Angel has no say in this. As what a turnaround of plays and heads up play from FPX.
There's an imposter among us, Angels. Emperor's Divide. It's really unlucky. I really kind of hope we get a replay of it. It just ends up shoving Kara over the wall into the pit where Gala just flashed. It's an complete accident, but this accident may have just cost RNG the game, and FPX with Baron, even with Care dead, they could consider pushing forward. They're not actually going to get the in-hit. Perhaps this is enough to stave FPX off the base, but my oh my, a comedy of errors from RNG. They lose the Baron. There's 2 minutes left. FPX just going to take a reset for now. We'll see what they can do once they come back out onto the map.
No inhib taken down, but lasting damage in the mid lane for FPX to play around. And my goodness, okay, I guess we're going to look at that one more time.
So it's just, is it the angle that Angel happens to be at? Wow. Yeah.
Wow. So he rift walked, and those final soldiers coming out push him over the edge.
Yep. Just the way that the soldiers work with the terrain, because he was on that side of the wall. That's where he gets shoved. And honestly, Care could have killed Ming as well if he hit that force pulse. As Wei just 1 CC, 2 CC, dead, and back to the fountain where he goes. Really unlucky RNG, man. We were just praising them as well. The level of discipline and careful thought that had been put into maintaining Care's overall power in this game. Just to get caught out by one brief misstep. Potentially FPX on the cusp of just taking back so much standing gold that's been there for them to gain. Let's see how RNG can defend. They still got a lot of damage in response, right? And Breathe is still that unkillable wall. But how unkillable will he be?
He's not looking too unkillable. Has to pop that gargoyle stone plate for about half his health in shielding. And FPX still about 30 seconds on this Baron buff. Care's looking at the mid lane inhib.
Here's Care. Someone's got to answer him. But my big fear is I don't think anyone can.
God, Gala.
The rest of FPX. Yeah, Gala's going to go back. Just going to shove on the bottom side. Care's
Way's going in on Care, but Care says, I don't care.
Yeah, he really doesn't at all. He can respond very happily with his damage of his own. They'll get the bottom side inhibitor mid lane now. That's what they're looking at. Breathe again, just tanking frontline damage. There's curtain call.
Shooting it onto Lele. Fearness tanking up. Man, that force shot did nothing. That was the gargoyles, though, I believe, popped there. Oh, Chains of Corruption back on the Breathe. Breathe locked up, stunned down. Breathe having to use that unstoppable onslaught to get out. And RNG starting to lose some of their tools here, but they're looking at Angel, the big stopping power.
Stopping power indeed. Angel's got death cap now as well. He can really find so much damage.
There you go. Care's down. Breathe has found the play TP. Decisiveness might just be the kicker here. Fearness goes on to Ming. Fearness finds Ming as he's down in the base. Fearness. He almost takes down Angel, but can't do it. And RNG have pulled the trigger on FPX. Oh, wait. Looking for it on LWX. If you can pocket this GA, that's actually huge. Lola's over the side. Flash. LWX, that's another Cyclone up away, getting lower. Deadly flourish from Gala, pulls it. As Lola gets one kill back on the way. Breathe is on top of LWX. You gotta be really careful here. Angel comes in clutch. Look how much damage he's doing. And the saving grace, the beautiful Angel of RNG comes down to save their day.
It's a complete turnaround.
No
for
way they just win here.
RNG. And I think they might just win here. Kare's got 10 seconds left on the death timer. Maybe they're scared, and maybe Kare can pull off a miracle
Kare's
here.
coming up. He's tanking it. This is it. This is a race for the finish. The doomsday clock has come back alive, and Kare, he's moving in to clean up RNG.
He's stacking.
That's the gargoyles, though. Fourth shot on the hacker. Gala's doing some work here. Kare can't do it. Kare, he's on to Gala. But Angel, he's on the Nexus. Angel, he's on Kare, and Bree takes him down. RNG, they might have just pulled back from the brink of extinction, and Royal never give up.
It's in the bloody name. Royal don't give up. They stay true to the name, and FPX cannot close out. It's a masterclass from Angel and Gala in how to turn a game around. It doesn't matter if you've got a level 16 Kassadin. It doesn't matter if you've got a late game Varus who's taking half HP from the arrows. If you don't lose the Nexus, you don't lose the game. And that was the motto for RNG. And they turn it all around. It's one misstep after the other for FPX. And RNG are the ones that punish, and they punish handily.
And what I want to go back to is the masterclass comment you said, because my God, I don't think I've ever seen anybody handle a comp like